Well, tonight, a picture of homelessness captured by children. They were strangers turned storytellers.
Yeah, they gave a man unseen by others a place in history. Channel 5's POLO Sandoval shares their story from Willacy County.
He was invisible to thousands, a man with no name, no home. Well, 5 teens did stop and take notice. They didn't know it at the time, but that brief encounter would forever change their perception of the homeless. They'd also leave a lasting mark for one man. And it started right here, under an overpass.
In this article, do we put his personality?
Absolutely. Or what about that other idea that you guys had about a forgotten hero?
How do you spell Vietnam?
V-I-E-T-N.
Oh, V-I-E-T-A-M. Thank you.
Huddled away in a tiny parish classroom.
What about the fact that everybody would pass by and not notice him?
Pencil scribbles spell out the untold story of homelessness on the streets of Raymondville.
That's why we decided our poem to be about Raymondville. That's why it's like, I am Raymondville. Because not the whole time, but most of it is in poverty.
Ralia, Selena, Jose, Rosa, and Carla. 5 students turned journalists writing about a stranger turned friend.
I think that's y'all's best Gregory land for the forgotten hero of the Vietnam War.
It was part of a project, a poem titled, I Am Raymondville. Each picture in the project was snapped by the young journalists. They wanted to capture poverty and despair, to freeze it in time. The raw reality of a homeless life in Raymondville shows in their art, a view of people with no place to go, their worldly possessions carried in a cart.
So it first started with us going taking pictures, and we happened to pass by Gregory. And we were scared at first.
Fear quickly faded to curiosity when they met Gregory.
I wanted to learn more about him and how he really was because I didn't get to meet him that well.
The man behind the beard and glasses provided a chance to put a face on a persistent problem.
We were trying to help him so that we were trying to improve our resources so that a lot of people can get out of poverty and have a normal life.
Carla and her fellow journalists offered prayer and peace.
He didn't want to open up to the people.
The mysterious man offered his story. It was a look at a troubled life. It included a brief enlistment in the military.
Even though he was homeless, which really doesn't make a difference, he was a veteran, he was a person, and he was a child of God. He was just like all of us.
The street side visit was brief. It was enough to profile Gregory and the rest of the town's poor. 5 students submitted their project. A few hours later, their hearts sank. Their new friend was dead. His body was found surrounded by the refuge of his life. It laid in the shadow of an abandoned gas station. Gregory died alone.
I bet he did have a family, so I don't know why that family didn't speak out for him. At least help him.
An autopsy revealed the man died of natural causes. Investigators also learned his name wasn't really Gregory. He was to be buried in a pauper's grave. His plain marker to read, John Doe, Raymondville 323. His new family refused to accept that.
And that we wanted his name, his real name, to be on his gravestone. And for him to have a proper burial. And if they find out that he really is a veteran, for him to have a veteran burial.
The students turned to George Solis.
And as a justice of the peace, it's my responsibility to make sure that he's identified and that a full inquest is completed.
Solis also serves as commander of the local American Legion. He adopted the kid's mission as his own. He was determined to find out if the man he pronounced dead was in fact a man who wore the uniform.
It was the right thing to do to determine whether he was a veteran with honorable discharge, even if it had been a dishonorable, to find out whether he was a veteran and find out more about him.
It wasn't easy. Solis could find no record of the unidentified man. He feared the story told to the students wasn't true. Determination would soon pay off. A single phone call from the Veterans Administration changed everything. It was just one day before the man's cremated remains would be buried.
We couldn't have planned it to say one day, 24 hours or 30 hours before his funeral, we're going to determine that this man is somebody significant to our country.
The stranger known to the people of Raymondville as Gregory was named Kent Carl Cotton. Born March 31st, 1956 in Kenosha, Wisconsin, he was a veteran during the Vietnam War.
His original inquest came out as a John Doe Raymondville 323. And now we have Kent Carl Cotton, a U.S. Navy veteran, honorable discharge, and it's just an amazing feeling.
The puzzling question was finally answered.
The feeling that I got after finding out who it was will be etched in my life forever.
Honor our departed comrade with a 21-gun salute. Hey,
The homeless hero finally got the burial he deserved.
I know eventually it would, because all of us being strong enough to be able to care about him, and no one else was able to.
Rosa's steadfast determination brought many from the tiny town together. The story of 5 kids who wouldn't give up brought them here. Kids who were determined to give a homeless man his dignity.
People in school would always tell us that he wasn't a veteran, that they had taken it to Arizona, and that we were just lying, just knowing that it was real. I never lost hope because we knew he was a veteran, because he had told us. And I never wanted to lose hope, and we didn't. And that's why we got the burial for him.
Work doesn't end at this grave for Ralia, Selena, Jose, Rosa, and Carla. They know stories are still to be told on the streets of Raymondville.
Gregory isn't the only homeless here, and he isn't the last homeless here, but he sure is the first one we met, and that he was the one to help us want to help all of them.
He could have created change. The way we think of homeless people as of today. It's not about looks, it's about what's in the inside.
I know he's up there smiling down at us for giving him his peace, and I know he's up there just looking at us and thanking us.
The 5 teens wrote a final tribute honoring their friend. We asked Selena to read a portion of it.
I am Gregory. I am quiet and lonely. I am grateful to those of you who fed me and gave me a buck or two at times when I had nothing. I am safe and free. Don't worry, I am home.
Tonight, so many others still call the streets of Raymondville home. They sleep under overpasses or behind gas stations, just like Kent Carl Cotton, a man still known around these parts as Gregory. And if they want a place to stay or a warm meal, they have to find a way to Harlingen. That's 20 miles south of here. The young journalists that you just met tonight want to change all that. I'm POLO Sandoval, Channel 5 News at 10, Raymondville.
What better to convey a feeling of love than to give a voice to those who have lost their voice? Well, another note to Polo's story. Just as the piece, George Solis reminds us that the homeless in the community need a chance. He is asking the public to see the homeless as people and not numbers. He's also calling for something to be done to give them a chance to change their lives.
We need to do something to help them out, to encourage them to do better, and encourage the community and the leaders of our community to provide employment for them and to provide other things that are necessary to survive.
Now, if you'd like to help Judge Solis trigger change in Raymondville, you can contact Post 390, the American Legion, 689-1903. He is working with the Willacy County Housing Authority to come up with a plan to assist the homeless.
And since POLO and photojournalists Enrique Sainz and Mario Sandoval set out to document the story of Gregory, the group of 5 friends received top honors from the Congressional Office of Filimon Vela, Willacy County, and the local American Legion. We are showcasing the work of the mobile journalists online. Head on over to krgv.com for a look at their award-winning project and the photos that capture a look at the town's poverty problem.